Welcome back to another video. In today's second stimulus check update and stimulus package update, we have a bunch of stuff we are going to cover. Specifically, we are going to address the $1,200 stimulus checks that are coming very soon. I want to dive into the unemployment issue, and I want to explain everything that is involved in unemployment, so stick around for that. Also, there is Social Security funding. You may not know about this, so I'm going to explain that as well. And also, I want to address Donald Trump's big win. And this is shocking. So make sure you stick around for all of this. Now, if you have questions on anything stimulus related, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Before I dive into the second stimulus check update and stimulus package update, I just ask if you can do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. It just helps YouTube go and share this video with others and keep them updated as well. So let's dive into this. First off, if you didn't know, I did a couple videos yesterday talking about this entire thing, but the new bill that Mitch McConnell proposed and wrote is called the HEALS Act. If you are wondering why I'm using quotes, stick around, you're going to see in just a second. And again, it is shocking. So before I dive into the $1,200 stimulus check and go into unemployment and everything in between, let's first talk about what is not included in this next stimulus package. And I want to address this because if something is here in this list that's not included, and that's what you were particularly looking for, then I just saved you some time. All right. So first off, what's not included? The first and the biggest thing that is not included in this next stimulus package is the no eviction ban extension. That is nowhere to be found inside the HEALS Act. I think it will be coming at some point. It has to, and it better, or else the economy and many people are going to have a huge crisis on their hands. The next thing that is not in the HEALS Act, which is so close to the HEROES Act, but the HEALS Act is there's no money for essential workers. Now, there are a couple senators fighting to really push this in there, and I think they have a chance. However, it's highly unlikely. They will probably be heard. There will probably be people that jump on board with them. But as far as it passing, I don't believe there's going to be a budget in there for it, which again is shocking compared to what Donald Trump was able to put into this bill. So again, stick around for that. Also, there's no vacation tax credits, which most people didn't care about. There's no money for state and local governments, which there needs to be some money, but what they decide to do is just kind of restructure the CARES Act to allow some of the funding from the CARES Act to be used for different things for state and local governments, which again would work. And then the last thing that I didn't see was any additional SNAP benefits. So we'll see what happens with all that, but let's dive into what is actually in the HEALS Act. First, I want to explain this bill is just a starting point. This is not the overall bill. This is not what is going to be voted on yet. Okay? It needs to be negotiated first, and I can tell you right now, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are not going to have it. They are going to fight tooth and nail to make sure there is more for the American people. So here is what is in the stimulus package currently. First, the second stimulus check is in there. It's going to be a $1,200 stimulus check as long as you are an individual and you made less than $75,000, or you're head of household, you made less than $115,000, or you are filing jointly and the two people combined made less than $150,000. You would receive $1,200 per adult, and all dependents, no matter the age, will get the $500 stimulus check. The one downfall is, even though you will get this stimulus check, you will get the second stimulus check. Let's say you're 32 years old and you're on someone else's tax return. As a dependent, you will still get the second stimulus check, but it won't be retroactive. You will not get the first stimulus check. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you are an adult, you're over the age of 18, your stimulus check will be sent to the person that filed taxes and claimed you as a dependent. So it won't come to you directly. It will go to them, and it will be on them whether they decide to give it to you or not. So, what's going on with unemployment? This is a huge issue. A lot of people are wondering, and I want to explain why $200 per week is better in some cases than 70% of your previous wages. I'm going to give you an example in just a second. However, currently, as it sits right now, as it's proposed, this is before negotiations, this is from the HEALS Act directly, it states that from July 31st to September 30th, there will be $200 per week tacked on for federal boost on anyone's unemployment income. So, that's just until September 30th. Starting October 1st through December 31st, so throughout the year, it would turn into a 70% of your previous wage, up to a $500 max. And that max does not mean max from the federal government. That's $500 max. That is your state unemployment benefits, including the federal unemployment boost. Okay, those two incomes combined, $500 max. Now, I want to address that in a second, but the first thing I just want to say is that right now it's probably going to take 2 to 3 weeks before you receive your $200 per week bonus for unemployment. And I state this because the bill first has to pass, and then they need to actually implement this, which could take a week. Okay, so there's probably about a 2 to 3 week delay in the $200 per week bonus, but that will be retroactive. So if you don't receive this until the end of August, they would still retroactively pay you $200 per week as long as you're on unemployment. Okay, just keep that in mind. Now let me give you an example. In this example, I want to be very clear. This is for California. Okay, I say it's for California. I know I use California a lot, but that is where over 30% of my viewers are coming from, and you guys reside in California, so that's just why I use California. Now, in the state of California, if you make $1,000 per week, $1,000 per week or $52,000 per year, your 70% wage, your 70% your wage replacement would be $700. Well, if you, and I just used the California unemployment calculator, this benefits calculator, and it just throws up the number, but if you made $1,000 per week, you would actually get paid $450 per week from the state unemployment. You max out at $450. Okay, that you can't. Nobody gets more than that. Now, with that said, with the current benefit, the way it's written is from July or from July 31st until September 30th, you get paid $200 per week on top of your state unemployment benefit. So you make $450 per week from the state of California, and you get an additional $200 per week from the federal government. That's $650 per week. Not bad. Now, under the proposed package, where from October 1st through through December 31st, through the end of the year, you would get $450 from the state, and then you'd get the other, because you get up to 70%, remember 70%, so you can get a total of $700. Well, here's the problem, that you max out at $500 max. 500. So you get 450 from your state unemployment. That means the federal government will kick in an extra $50 and max you out at 500. So in this particular example, you'd be better off from July 31st to September 30th, getting the additional $200 as opposed to the 70% and $500 max. So again, just keep that in mind, because you might be in a position where you will max out of the unemployment benefit. Okay, let's address Donald Trump's big win. Now, this big win, it is a small but major issue in this bill. Let me address what it is. First off, the Republicans and the Democrats don't like one piece of legislation that is in this bill, and this was introduced last minute. And specifically, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who wrote this bill, said, and I quote, he wasn't aware that this money was included. So, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this section of the bill that says $1.75 billion will go to rebuilding the FBI headquarters on Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, let me show you a picture really quick. In this picture, you can see what I have blown up right here. It is the FBI headquarters on Pennsylvania Avenue is almost directly across the street from Trump International Hotel. So why is this an issue? Well, first off, many people had no clue this was even going to be in there. Mitch McConnell, who said he wrote this bill, this was his draft, he had no clue this money was actually included. $1.75 billion, and you have no clue it's going to be there, and you just put your name on this bill? That's crazy. I would never do something like that. However, the reason why this is a big deal is because, and Nancy Pelosi called the White House out on this, is that Donald Trump is looking for a way for him to benefit from this particular bill. Now, rebuilding the FBI headquarters has nothing to do with the pandemic. Whether the FBI headquarters is rebuilt and looking better, or it's in the same condition it's in now, does not change the outcome of this pandemic, does not help the American people any way. It has no bearing. So why would they decide now is the best time to include $1.75 billion in funding when that money could go to SNAP benefits? I have a list right here. Could go to SNAP benefits, could help the eviction bans, could help go to state and local governments, could go to money for essential workers. Seriously. And 1.75 is going to go to rebuild a building that is probably looking better than the majority of buildings across the United States? It just doesn't make sense to me. But what are your thoughts on that? Another thing that is, again, sorry for that little rant, but I kind of have an issue with that. That he's gonna, use this time, use this pandemic to, increase his, his holdings, his value by not having a competing hotel across the street or a rundown building. Seriously. Anyway, that's for another day. Another thing that's inside the HEALS Act is Medicare premiums will not go up in 2020, so they won't go up this year. So that's another good thing. There's also a plan to increase funding for Social Security and Medicare trust funds. That's an incredible thing. I think that's great. I think if the 1.75 from the FBI headquarters, put that into Social Security, right? Give them some more money. Okay. Now, details on this are not out yet. They're still working out and hashing out the details here. So once things get worked out, I'll let you know more about that. But again, increasing the trust funds for Social Security and Medicare, that's incredible. I think that is very well needed right now. But again, remember this. This bill is only going to get better from here. It cannot get worse. This is the ground floor. This is where we're starting. This is the foundation. This bill can only go up, can only get better. They might get rid of things like an FBI headquarters rebuild that costs $1.75 billion. But I don't think they're going to get rid of, the unemployment's not going to get worse. The stimulus check is not going to get worse. This bill is only going to get better for the American people. Or at least, again, I hope. Now, let's talk about COVID-19 news. I've spent a couple days talking about just specifically stimulus-related matters, but COVID-19, you need to understand this news so that you understand where we are going as a country. Now, yesterday on Monday, Florida reported a 23% surge in child hospitalizations. That's incredible, and the reason why I say this is incredible, this number, is because Florida is just weeks away of schools statewide reopening. That's a big issue. If I were a parent in Florida, I'd have a real concern about sending my child to school when I just found out that child hospitalizations are surging by 23%. Now, 23% might not sound like a lot, but it is. It's much higher than the national average. So just keep that in mind. Also, yesterday, Governor Gavin Newsom from California said the state has a new COVID hotspot. It's in Central Valley. Now, here's what you need to understand. As certain areas close, and when I say certain areas, it's usually going to be areas that are a little bit bigger. Usually going to be areas that have probably a beach and people go and congregate outside. So as these places close and other places are not as strict, people are going to naturally migrate to other areas. And this is pretty much what is happening. It's not just happening in California. We've seen it happen in Florida. We've seen it happen in Texas. It's happening all across the country. So we just need to be aware of this. Just because a different section of the state is less strict does not mean you should be less strict with your protection. You know, stop wearing a mask. No social distancing, or maybe even you don't wash your hands or don't use hand sanitizer. Remember, just try to be safe, protect yourself, and protect others. Now, one of the things I try to do on every single one of these second stimulus check updates and stimulus package update videos is I try to give you a way to make money towards the end. That's exactly what I want to do right here. I want to show you how to make between $100 and $200 per day on Google Maps. If you've never seen this strategy, you've never heard of this, you don't really know how to make money with Google Maps, then I highly recommend and encourage you to go and watch that video down in the description box below. In this video, I'm going to walk you through it step by step and show you how to make $100 to $200 per day on Google Maps. If you don't know, Google Maps is a completely free tool that Google offers. So because of this, you can make $100 to $200 per day or more in pure profit, just by following the simple steps that I outlined in that video. So again, go and watch it. Alright guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed this second stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Tuesday, July 28th. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask them down in the comment section below. But like always, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of my stimulus check updates, and I'll see you guys on the next one.